Regardless of the type of equipment you drive, there are hazards common to all drivers. Identifying the hazards is the first step in safety awareness. Reducing the risks of your route is accomplished by reporting potential hazards to your supervisor when you see them. A route safety analysis is a fancy title for common sense, but it's important for you to understand some of the more common hazards we see in our day-to-day operations. Identifying and eliminating the hazards are part of your job responsibility. First, pavement and sidewalk damage is a potential claim against the company. When you notice this type of damage, especially at locations being serviced for the first time, report it to management. We don't want to pay for some other person's damage. Overhead clearance problems, especially wires, are frequent hazards. Let's quickly review some basic overhead clearance procedures. However, be sure to follow your company's procedures. These are basic recommendations. Let's take a look at a driver operating a front-end loader with an overhead clearance problem. The container was identified with the hazard, but don't assume there's no hazard because the container doesn't have a warning on it. The driver backed the vehicle out from under the clearance, dumped the load, then returned the container. The ever-present congestion and tight space and backing out require extra caution. Watch out for wires that could snag on the vehicle or container as you back out. Don't forget about the hopper doors. You'll notice this operator made sure the hopper was closed before returning the container to the shipping dock. Common sense, but you have to think about the problem before you take action to prevent an accident. Be sure to report all clearance problems to management so they can be identified. You may not be the only person to drive this route, and the information you provide can help others prevent accidents. Use caution when picking up containers from shipping or loading docks. You have the container, the forklift, and the overhead clearance hazards to think about. The container wheels can easily be damaged by not watching what you're doing. You can destroy the forks on the front-end loader going under an overpass or other obstructions with the forks up. Overhead beams are particularly hazardous. Damage to a structure is extremely costly to repair, not to mention the damage to the vehicle. Front loaders and roll-offs have damaged many overhead beams, pipes, and structures. Okay, you have the idea on overhead clearances, but let's quickly review some of the rules. Constantly check for adequate clearances of the container, the hopper, and the truck itself, especially in tight spaces. Don't move with your forks raised. Keep your mirrors and windows clean. Report all property damage at the location to prevent the owners from thinking you caused the damage. Report all truck defects and alert management to potential problems. And of course, don't take chances. Okay, while we're on the subject, let's talk a bit about container accessibility. If you've been in the business any length of time, you know what a hassle it can be. Containers can be blocked by cars or overfilled. These container problems cause injuries. They can delay a route, they can cause equipment damage, the community image may be damaged, or you can lose a customer. Waste hauler drivers commonly cause damage to fences, gates, parked cars, overhangs, walls, pavement, gas or electric meters, bump into poles, and a host of other accidents. It's an industry-wide problem, but there are things you can do to help reduce property damage and injuries. Drivers must be careful approaching all containers as the environment changes from time to time, and taking a location for granted can be a mistake. Many containers are placed next to buildings. Approach the container with caution. Get out of the truck if necessary to ensure a safe pickup. When setting the container down, think about the next time it must be picked up. Make it as easy as possible. The customer has a responsibility to provide stable access to our containers. Report any damage or potentially hazardous containers to management. Parked cars are probably the most common obstacle. Try to find the owner and politely ask them to move it if possible. If not, ask your dispatcher for instructions. Overloaded containers are difficult to service. Report the overloaded containers to your supervisor, as the customer may need more frequent service or larger containers. This solves the overloaded container problem and increases business. Report broken casters or poorly positioned containers. They can be the source of an injury to children or people walking near the container. It's a never-ending problem, but you can help. If you notice an accessibility problem, such as a compactor with a broken door or damaged cover, report it, as children can enter and become injured. Before you move your truck, know what's behind you, in front of you, and on either side of you. Visibility is critical. If you can't see, get out of the truck to make sure the way is clear before moving. Pay close attention to the condition of the containers and roll-off boxes. Defective lids, rollers, sleeves, casters, hinges, rusted-out containers, and damaged doors must be reported. Not only damage to the containers is possible, potential safety hazards exist with defective containers. Compactors have special hazards, such as dangling or exposed electrical wiring. Extremely dirty or filthy areas must be reported and corrected before they become health hazards. Compactors with missing guards, oil leaks, and missing access doors can be serious safety hazards. Absence of anchor bolts, damaged chutes, and decals are also potential problems that need correcting. Last but not least is the child safety problem. Children are attracted to the mechanics and noise of our trucks and equipment. Pay special attention to children and make sure they are clearly out of harm's way before you begin pickup service or when setting a container down. On roll-offs, think what would happen if a cable snapped. Where would the container go? Into a house, building, or where children were standing and watching? It's a big responsibility. Be alert for hazardous waste on your route, such as batteries, paint, oil, and all other unauthorized chemicals and materials. Report any suspicious hazardous waste to management. If you're not sure, ask management. Okay, we're loaded and off to the landfill. Driving safely to the landfill is important, but when you reach the disposal site, some more special precautions are in order. The physical conditions at a landfill are different and require special driving skills. Extremely hot and dry conditions create vision problems due to dust. Drive slowly and watch out for others who may have their vision blocked. Watch for bumpy road conditions. Take it easy. If you or your helpers get out of the truck, don't wander away from the truck. Stick close by because the traffic is likely to be heavy and the other drivers may not see you walking. Use a spotter if one is available when you're backing or maneuvering to dump a load. Think about the spotter's safety also. When driving on rough or uncovered surface areas, drive slowly as the undercarriage of the vehicle can be damaged, which could be severe enough to cause downtime. In wet weather, the road conditions are worse and the hazard potential is multiplied. You can get stuck or even turn the truck over. Be sure the ground will support the load and weight of the truck. If you do get stuck, don't try to rock the vehicle by going forward and reverse. This can cause serious transmission damage. Get help and get towed out. What may be okay in dry weather may be hazardous in wet weather. When dumping your load, keep in mind there will be more force on the tailgate the tighter the load is packed. During the trip to the landfill, the garbage moved around and may have expanded. Stand away from the tailgate when dumping the load and make sure no one is standing in the way of the load. Stand to one side when releasing the tailgate. Never walk under the hopper while it is elevated, or drive your vehicle away from the dumping face with the hopper in the elevated position. Helpers should never ride on the back steps of the trucks at landfills. They should remain in the cab if there is a landfill spotter. If there is no spotter, one helper should assist the driver from the left rear side of the truck while backing. After dumping, scrape off any remaining debris from the packing blade and then stand to the side of the truck while closing the tailgate. Secure the tailgate lugs and fold them in so they do not protrude beyond the truck body. Don't forget to clean out behind the packing blade, as this has caused many truck fires. Traffic at the landfill can get heavy from time to time, in addition to the landfill equipment. Traffic is heavy at the entrance and exit also, so you need to use extra caution and drive slowly and be alert. Follow the posted rules at the landfill and follow the spotter's directions. If there is no spotter and the face of the fill is crowded, it's safer to dump out on the end of the face, where one side of your truck is not exposed to traffic. Roll-off drivers should be especially careful when removing the container cover, so as not to slip and fall. Check your truck before leaving the landfill. Inspect the tires and undercarriage for damage. That's a lot of rules to remember, but these are common sense safety rules, and they are part of your responsibility as solid waste professionals. It makes good sense, and all it takes is a good attitude and following the rules. Thank you.